For these reasons, in conclusion, the state legislature must increase the WPU by 6% and increase the amount of funding for our kids by $1,234 a year!
My name's John Arthur. I'm a teacher here in Salt Lake City. And when I started teaching and doing these projects in my classroom with my kids, I was afraid that I was going to get in trouble. I was afraid that my principal would yell at me, that someone would come down and threaten my job because I wasn't spending enough time on the classic, traditional way of teaching when I was having my kids working as content creators. Turns out quite the opposite. I was recognized as the 2021 Utah Teacher of the Year, and I was a National Teacher of the Year finalist. And in that recognition, I found that people were inspired by my children, that they had seen their videos, that they were moved by the kinds of work that they were doing. And I felt incredibly validated that young people from upper elementary all the way through middle school and high school should be doing this kind of work. They should be creating as much content as they possibly can and sharing it out with the world. That's what school is supposed to be about, because that's what civic life is supposed to be about. As people who live in this state, who live in our communities, who live in this country and have a perspective on what should be happening right now, it's what we should all be doing, creating our own messages in whatever platform makes the most sense to us, and then sharing it with our leaders, our lawmakers and legislators to get them to move policies in the direction we need them to. Watching my students do this work, I realized, man, I'm inspired by them too. And at the same time, I also realized, man, I've been hiding behind my students. I've been putting them out there on this platform, sharing their work, and at the same time, I have these things that I'm passionate about. And I realized that it was time that I started. There are too many things in education that need to get changed. Too many things in our schools that are wrong. Too much injustice that you can't turn a blind eye to any longer.
When considering HB 119, School Employee Firearm Possession Amendments, keep in mind that Utah teachers can already carry concealed firearms in school. Remember when a Utah teacher accidentally shot herself in the leg in 2014 after placing her gun on the toilet paper dispenser while in the bathroom? Finally, each participating school shall post a sign stating it's not a gun-free zone and any individual intending to commit violence may be confronted by armed resistance, so watch out. What kills me is many proponents of this bill accuse teachers of indoctrination and worse. And now you want us armed? You think we teach CRT and you want us packing heat? We need to keep our kids safe in school, so let your legislators know what school safety means to you.
Little by little, I started to civically engage at the level that my kids were. I was already impressed by how much they were changing the conversation around civic issues of importance to them, and I started to have a similar impact amongst the adults that I interacted with. Over the last several years, we've watched adults behaving terribly, just as badly as they possibly can. We've seen adults going into school board meetings and shouting it down. We've seen people accusing each other of the worst things online and feeling like that's the way to engage with each other, whether you disagree or not. And as I talk to kids like you who are growing up in this world with such uncertainty and yet demonstrating so much flexibility and malleability and grace as you deal with this ever-changing situation you find yourself in, I've realized that the way to do this work is to bring the level of empathy and encouragement that we always teach little kids to, and that you carry on with you through middle school and high school. It's that we need to bring to all civic and even adult conversations. My students, when you watch their music videos, you see that they don't call names, they don't say anything unkind or rude. They just lay out their honest truth. And then they ask you, they invite you to engage with that and tell them, now that you know who I am and what kind of person I am, how can you possibly ask me to either leave or sit silent?
Pops left me when I was small, never grew up with no father. Mama had cancer and I told her I will make it someday. She passed away December 24, 2013. Grandma took care of me. She looked at me, heartbroken. 5th grade came. Phone calls every day saying Emmanuel is being bad in class. So I made promises that I will make accomplishments. 6th grade came and I got the greatest teacher. He's helping me make songs, trying to make it for my family. Brother passed away, waking nightmare. Wake up every morning and I pray to God. I'm at the hospital looking how you were there. We went to the cemetery and we buried her. Put flowers and roses on the graveyard. Now I'm doing better in school. Mom's looking at me from up there. She's smiling at me, cause I know I've been trying for my mama and my family. My grandma is proud of me, cause I'm a Mexican boy trying for the rap game.
There's a tone and there's a grace that you have to bring to conversations that are really hard, these difficult ones. And as you've seen on the news, a lot of adults don't know how to do that. They scream when they should be talking. They accuse when they should be listening. But the thing that I learned watching my kids create their content is that these are labors of love. You know, I wrote a love letter to public education because I watched kids writing letters to their parents around Valentine's Day. And it was time for a rally up at the Capitol. And I was trying to think, what do I want to say about education, this thing that I've dedicated my professional life to? And it was a weird moment to realize, I think I'm in love with education. I think I'm like madly in love with teaching. And so I took a note from my kids. I wrote a love letter to public education. And I crafted it the same way that my students craft their poems. And I practiced it with my students the same way my students practice with each other. I got feedback from my students, not as kids talking to an adult, but as creators, collaborating and sharing ideas back and forth.
Every day is Valentine's Day in my house. And so I decided that since we're not going to be doing anything Monday night, I'm gonna take public education out on a date. We're gonna do it up. I've got the chocolates, the flowers. Public education doesn't know I'm taking her out, but we're doing it. And I've been drafting a love letter to public education. If you don't mind, I'd like to read it to you just to see if I'm on the right track. Oh man, it's been nerve-wracking. I was just gonna put it on a card, but then it just kept going. It turned into a whole sheet. So again, I want you to imagine I'm reading this, or public education sitting there reading this as I watch across the table on Monday. Hey, you. I know things have been pretty rough lately, and I don't want to pretend like everything's okay with us, because it's not. It's not. But I'm not going anywhere, and I want you to know why. I want you to know why I'm staying here, right here with you. If you don't mind, this is the moment where I'll get like more dramatic at the table. I'll lean forward. I want you to know why I'm staying here with you, and I want you to know why nothing's ever going to change that. I want you to know why I love you. First, though, let's just clear the air. I know you hate it when I say that I don't recognize you anymore. But I don't. You're out here with all your new technology and software, all these fancy collaboration tools and learning management systems. You've changed. That's okay. I've changed too. I'd like to think that we're going together. Just getting better and better, right? Don't you? I also know that seeing other teachers calling it quits around us is freaking you out. I get it. You're afraid I'm going to leave you too. You're all like, you're going to find another profession with more money and greater prestige, and you're going to forget all about me. And yeah, that sounds kind of nice. Those other jobs don't have what you have. They don't have your heart. They don't matter the way that you matter. They don't make the world a better place the way you do. And no matter how much you seem to want to talk me into it, I'm not interested in any other job. I won't quit you.
And when I went in front of a crowd of adults and delivered this love poem, this letter to public education, I got a reaction like nothing I've ever gotten for any other project that I've ever done personally. They felt the same love, and they just never heard it expressed in that way. That's something that you get when you work with young people, how to tap into the truth of something. And then I just applied that very teacherly technical knowledge to these other projects that I do, where I speak directly to legislators through Instagram Reels, or where I will create a video and post it on Twitter, X.
I had a conversation online with Representative Stenquist about HB 303, his classroom neutrality bill. I said, the other day, I told my students that immigrants enrich our community. I was speaking to my own mother and the immigrant children in our class. Under the language in your bill, wouldn't I be in violation of promoting a political or social belief? What's my penalty? He said, not at all. I said, I'm glad you say that, but the bill doesn't. Under this law, a parent who doesn't see the same value in immigrants would be held harmless by the state as they seek to enforce subsection 4 because I am changing their child's belief with my personal viewpoint on immigration. No? That's what the bill says. Those are the words on the page. Representative Stenquist wrote back, I have a personal rule not to believe legal analysis from non-lawyers on Twitter, least of all when they are distorting issues for their political campaigns. Okay, so I replied, Representative, in this conversation, I am just a Utah teacher trying to understand what I will and won't be able to say in class next year without jeopardizing my dream job. I highlighted the lines in the bill for his reference. Please, the bill language seems plain. Help teachers understand what we're missing. He hasn't written back yet. But if you have thoughts or questions about HB 303, the House Education Committee is meeting to discuss it Monday at 2 o'clock.
I post these videos and get legislators and other people who are civic leaders to engage with me. I put it out there almost like bait, and then they come and they have conversations with me that they never typically would have with a school teacher. It's thanks to this content creation that they see me in a different way. And it's the same thing for kids. A lot of my kids have IEPs, 504s. They're known as multilingual learners, kids with disabilities. But as soon as you start creating content, all those other labels disappear, and suddenly they're labeled with creator, artist, maker, genius. And that's what I hope they leave school with. I hope they always remember that those other labels that adults put on them, they don't matter so much as those labels you create for yourself when you decide to become someone who makes things and then shares them with everybody else.